Okay, so in the last video, we started this double border by doing the slip stitches and then by doing 2 rows of double crochet working onto the back side of our piece to make the back side of the border. And I'm just about at the end of my second row of double crochet, so it looks like I have, one more to do. And then I will finish with a slip stitch, and then I will cut my yarn. I'm going to do a slip stitch into the third V up because those first two are chains. So I'll put it in the first real stitch, cut my yarn, and then I'll just do a little slip stitch here. And I'll pull the yarn through. Okay, good. Now I get to flip my work over, and I will be doing the same 2 rows of double crochet on the front to make a flap comes from the front of the piece. Trying to find the end of my yarn here. There we go. So the only big difference between doing the back and the front is you have 2 V's on the front side of your slip stitches. So you have the option if you would like to work through both of them, and it will look exactly the same as the back there. Or you could just work through the back loop of these V's, which is what I'm going to do. And by leaving the front loop empty, you are going to have a nice little outline going around your work. It's a nice extra detail. Okay, so I'm going to put my hook into the back of one of these V's, and I will do a join stitch here. Then I will chain 2. Woo! Chain 2, and this is my first fake double crochet stitch. Now I'm going to do 1 double crochet in each one of these slip stitch back loops. They're a bit easier to work into on the front side, but they're still, kind of small stitches, so it's a bit of a challenge getting your hook in. Okay, so I'm going to keep doing these double crochets all the way across. When you get to a corner, same thing as the back side, you're going to chain 2 for this first row of double crochet. You'll double crochet across, get to a corner, chain 2, and then double crochet across, get to the corner, chain 2, and so on, all the way around. Okay, so I'm getting close to the corner here, and sometimes it is hard to distinguish whether your slip stitch is going horizontally or whether it's going vertically, based on the side that you're working on. So you may need to guess, but I definitely can tell that this last slip stitch is on this edge. So I think now I'm at the corner and that this next stitch would actually be going, the other direction. So this is where I will chain 2. And if you want a smaller opening in your corners, then you can just chain 1. That's an adjustment that you can make. And then I will just keep going. There we go. I will just keep going with double crochet. You can see the corner has quite an opening compared to your other stitches. So now that you are crocheting the front side of your double border, you should see all of your ends of your work. You should see them start to be sandwiched in between what we're doing now, which is going to cover them up and go on top, and then the flap that we did before, which would be in the back. Okay, so I'm getting close to my last corner and close to finishing this first row of double crochet. So I just wanted to show you the corner one last time. I think I'm gonna say that's my corner right there. And well, actually, no, I'm gonna decide this last stitch is going pretty vertically still. So let me work into that stitch. Now I'll chain 2 for the corner. Okay, and I have just a couple more double crochet to do. I think I split my yarn there. Oh dear, what a mess. Sometimes when I split the yarn, I can't just pick up the missing piece. I have to just pull out a stitch. There we go. Better. Last double crochet. Okay, now I can slip stitch into the third V up right here. And now I can, actually I don't need to cut my yarn. So we finished the first row of the front side of the border, and you can see this lovely neon orange line going across. Those are the slip stitches that we left the front loop of those slip stitches showing, and it does make a nice detail. So if you can choose a different color yarn for your slip stitches than your border, then you will see this nice little outline here. All right, let's do the next row of double crochets. So I'll chain 2. And now this is exactly the same as it was on the back. So you'll double crochet into the entire stitch all the way around. Then when you get to the corner opening, in that open space, you will do 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 more double crochet, all into this open space right there. And then you'll double crochet all the way around, do that same thing in the corner, 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, and then just keep going all the way around. Okay, so I'm at the end of my second double crochet row on the front side of the border. So I'm going to go into the third V from that first chain we did. We did chain 2 and then an actual stitch. So I'll slip stitch into that actual stitch. I don't need to cut it. Almost did. But now we're going to join the double border. So you can see there's 2 pieces, and we are going to work into just half of each stitch. So this is pretty dark. Let me get some light on here. So I'm going to go into the back of the stitch that I have, on my, like the front flap. So I'm going to go into the back stitch, back half of the front lap, and depending on how you're looking at it, just the back stitch, back half of that one. So I just have 2 pieces of yarn on my hook, and it's like the middle stitches. And I can do slip stitch. You could do single crochet if you prefer, but I'm just picking up half of each stitch on the edge of those double border pieces and slip stitching right along. Now, these can be tight slip stitches because this is the last step. We're not going to work into this again. So it is your preference here. I'm starting to split yarn over here. Oh dear. There we go. Now, in theory, you should have the same number of stitches on your front double border flap as on the back double border flap, but you may have picked up a stitch here or there or dropped. So if you find that you get to the corner and things are not even, you can do a little fudging where you might do a couple of slip stitches to just get it to match up. But if you find that it's a big discrepancy, then you may want to take out some of your work and spread out where you do your fudging so it's not all in one spot. So I do want to point out that when you are working the single crochet and joining your two double border flaps, if you have tails sticking out, use this time to tuck them back in and then continue doing your slip stitches to join with those tails on the inside. And then when you get to the chain in the corner, you can just pick up half of each chain so that you're treating it very much the same way and doing slip stitches into the chains that you have on your corners. Okay, so I'm just going to keep going all the way around and just tucking these tails in as I go.